All right, Ian. Nintendo's had a really weird couple of weeks, and they've had a massive data leak.
Huge data leak. So Nintendo was, what's the word I'm looking for? Infiltrated? That doesn't seem right. Nintendo was breached in 2018, I believe it was, and they're still trying to kind of get an idea of just how big this data leak was. And it's become more, it's been more in the news lately because there was a lot of Pokemon stuff that has been leaked. Old Pokemon builds with Pokemon that weren't in the final version or different versions.
That's right. That happened a while ago, right?
Well, I think more has happened than just the Space World. I think it was the Gold and Silver builds that were leaked.
And then it's had what is it? They had the people weren't able to log in with their My Nintendo stuff or whatever it was. That just happened too.
So there's a huge chunk of material leaked. Some of the oldest material goes back to the 1990s. The leak supposedly contains code written for the N64, the Wii, the Gamecube.
Source code. Wow.
So that's a lot.
N64 demos.
Yep. People love this kind of info, and I think there was something like 2 terabytes of data lost.
That's the report, but it hasn't all been put online yet.
Right. No, there's not 2 terabytes of data up online yet, but there's 2 terabytes of data that people are combing through.
So this is like almost 20 years of data.
Yeah. It's important to realize that 2 terabytes sounds like a lot now, but especially in the context of older software, older games, things like that. We're talking files that are, fractions, slivers of the size of what a file is now.
Sure.
So this is holding a great deal of information.
Sure. When you talk about like the amount of like, there's like developer, notes and things like that, that's a ton of notes and documents and probably text files even and things like that about, here's how we made the N64 step by step. Here's how we made the GameCube. And this is not something you usually hear about, something like this happening on this much of a scale.
So the source of the material is unknown, but it is suspected, like I said at the beginning, that it originates from a 2018 intrusion at Nintendo. Zamis Clark of Bracknell, England, pled guilty to computer hacking for that. Was sentenced to 15 months in prison in April 2019 in a London court. He also hit Microsoft in 2017, stole a bunch of files from them, and uploaded viruses and malware. So, yeah, this is just, it's massive, and I can't think of any sort of data breach in this regards, at least. Not talking like personal information, like a credit card data breach, but this is one of the biggest data breaches I've heard of that's like this, in terms of a company losing, all of its guarded information.
When you talk about console source code, that's a whole new ball game. Not just for being able to rewrite emulators. You're talking about potentially creating your own hardware based upon if you have the actual source code, and you basically have all the design documents. This is how we made the N64. You can potentially make your own N64.
Right.
Like that's nuts, and that's what Alex Donaldson said on here on Twitter. Said some of the implications of this leak are wild. Like Chinese companies could churn out crazy Wii, GameCube, N64 clone hardware from the source code the same way many do for SNES now. Games could actually have Okay, this is miswritten. Games could have actually native fan-made ports to other platforms. That's what happens when you get the source code.
Yeah.
It basically unlocks everything you can do.
So we didn't bring this up. I'm surprised we didn't. But there is all this talk going around about a PC port of Mario 64. Is that stemming from this?
Oh, I heard about that. You think it's related?
I'm gonna look right now.
That's actually not a bad point. So this was originally these leaks came on 4chan in mid-April, and then it was verified, and then people were talking about it on Reset Era forums. Just a third of 1% is reportedly been released. A third of 1%. So that's like pat math. 1% would be what is that? What is 1% of that? Is it 2 gigs of 2 terabytes? That's like 1% there. That's nothing. And then 1/3 of that. So that's like a third of 2 gigs is like 600 megs, if I had that right. It's less than a gig that's been released. It's nothing. It's minuscule.
Yeah. There is a Super Mario 64 port for the PC that was released by a fan. It's being heavily guarded as to where it is. It doesn't say whether or not it was done using that source code, but I would be willing to bet that that's probably part of it.
Think they could do it that quickly?
I mean, who knows how long it's been out there? If this is coming from a 2018.
Oh, you're saying it was they secretly had the source code?
And if they're guarding where it is, who knows when they actually got their hands on it?
So. Yeah, this means plus if you have all the code of the actual, maybe there's codes of the games in there, like then you can just make your own Zelda Ocarina sort of game yourself, and just basically like plug and play it. So this is nuts. This is nuts. Man, if Nintendo finds out, we talked about the Nintendo ninjas before in jest about coming after you. Yeah. Holy shit. Your life is over if they find out who you are here. Do you think now? We talked about before about some of these companies were potentially coming out with before N64, like Hyperkin was trying to get an N64 console working before, but that would have to be emulation based. But now, like this proposes, you can see
like they
clone
say,
hardware.
We could see clone hardware soon enough.
Nintendo could go after them if the patents are still existing, obviously. And obviously they're using the code. The code itself would be copyrighted outside of the patents. But I don't think those Chinese companies, they're going to do what they want, probably not give a shit about what Nintendo says. Sure. But obviously, it'd be harder to sell in the U.S. But this is it's interesting how this happens. And did you see the one little demo that they had, the little N64 like proof of concept demo?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's on the Screen Rant article, I believe. If you scroll down. It was called Mirror House Cornflakes there. And it's a cute little demo. It's 5 minutes long, and it's literally a little 3D demo of this little blue-haired character running around. Just a little, like I said, it's just a proof of concept. It's in 3D. There's little like, I guess, cornflake-colored fences, and you're walking around with the character on an overhead screen. And it looks like you can manipulate the camera. And that's all it is. It's just to basically say, this is our new system.
Yeah.
This is what we have. It's 3D here. It doesn't look like it lasts that long. It's a few minutes long. But that's already on YouTube.
That's crazy.
And that was posted on May 2nd. So this stuff is getting out there, obviously. It's basically, the manual reads, A House of Mirrors is an amusement park attraction in which the walls of a maze are covered with mirrors. You okay? You have power to that?
No. I guess not. Or maybe I did. I don't know why it shut down.
I think it was plugged in all the way.
Oh, well, there we go.
Anyway, so there you have it there. This could be a slow drip, maybe, over the coming months. That would be interesting if that happens. So you power back up?
I'll get there.
Okay. So, I don't know how... obviously it'll be, I'm not sure how legal it would be to post some of this stuff. Depends upon if Nintendo would be okay. Like, say there's like an Ocarina of Time demo in there or early build or something.
I'm going to guess that none of it's legal to post.
Well, I guess you can, this is still up. This demo's still up on YouTube. Nintendo has to know about this.
Sure.
3 days later.
Maybe they don't necessarily care about that being out, but I'm just saying the legality of having and posting.
Oh, the source code. Oh, no, you can't post that. You're in trouble there. But I guess we're going to be bringing this up a lot more probably the next few months.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of the things that we've talked about, have come from that 2018 breach, and a lot more.
But now we actually know that's where it's come from.
Well, we think that's where it comes from. Like the Pokemon, almost certainly the
Pokemon builds and things like that. I guess it makes sense. I'm just surprised that I guess you take for granted cybersecurity. I'm just shocked that all that information would be in one place, even going 20 years back.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that,
why would you need
pick up a huge chunk?
Why would you need N64 and GameCube and Wii stuff being available, like readily accessible when you're 2 generations away from that? I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it doesn't make it, and let alone GameCube and N64. That's like ancient history at this point. All right. Oh, and supposedly, I think I saw something else. There was supposedly I think there was an emulator for one of the systems that was on there too, like a Nintendo's own emulator was on there.
Oh yeah, I think I'd heard about that as well. They haven't. I thought I saw a DS emulator recently.
Maybe that's what it was.
It was Nintendo's own DS emulator.
So
anyway,
you might see some emulators out there in the future, but they might not be legal. Usually emulators are legal when you write them from scratch. But if you're stealing Nintendo's own ones, it probably won't be legal to distribute that.
Because it's theirs. Who knows?
They would probably, but it'll get out there. I'd be funny if Nintendo's DS emulator wouldn't be as good as the ones that already exist, but you'd think it'd be better.
You would think.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Like if Nintendo had their own N64 emulator that was like perfect, that would be huge for obviously the emulation community. Then it would help, if someone like Hyperkin made their own emulation console, but Nintendo would come after them.
Yeah,
obviously if they did that.